You guys remember that Bethesda Xbox merger that was a really big deal and was supposedly really getting close to like all being finalized and everything? Yeah, about that. Let's get into it. Hello there, guys. This is Solid Shepard bringing you another video. And today we're talking about this article right here. It's kind of a big oof. A big oopsies. Bethesda faces lawsuit over Fallout 4 DLC. So this is from like a while ago. The company faces charges of deceit for not including its Creation Club in the game's Season Pass, which could delay Microsoft's ZeniMax takeover. That's the important part right there. Bethesda is facing a class action lawsuit over the way it handled the release of DLC for Fallout 4. The lawsuit revolves around Fallout 4 Season Pass, which was announced in September 2015 with a $30 price tag, later increased to $50, and promising access to all DLC ever done for the game, GamesBeat reported. However, in 2017, Bethesda announced Creation Club, which is described as a collection of all new content for both Fallout 4 and Skyrim. That content was created both by external partners and Bethesda Game Studios itself, and isn't available to people who have bought the Season Pass. By the way, also, articles from gamesindustry.biz. As always, the source link will be in the description down below. But yeah, so basically the question is like Creation Club. That's where the issue is coming in right here. Is a lot of people are like the lawsuit, like they believe that, especially the stuff in Creation Club that's actually made by Bethesda, that should be covered under the Season Pass, basically. Which, I mean, they're not wrong. Like, I feel like Bethesda was trying to get away with a technicality there. Even the people, even the modders who they were using their stuff, like, Bethesda was heavily involved with those people's stuff. So, I mean, they were more or less, they were as much a employee of Bethesda as I'm an employee of YouTube. Even though I'm not, like, if I was making money, like your average YouTuber. I mean, they're not under, like, contract. They don't have an office at Bethesda, but they're getting paid by Bethesda for their stuff. They're getting a certain amount of the percentage of the sales. Okay, the attorneys of the class action lawsuit, Filippo Marchino. I'm gonna go with Marchino. Might be wrong. That's what I'm going with. And Thomas Gray from the X Law Group argue that this content constitutes DLC and that players who purchase the Season Pass should therefore have access to it. Like I said, we're splitting hairs of technicalities here. Unfortunately, guys, if you're looking forward to the merger, you're kind of splitting hairs, but if anyone has a stronger case, it's probably the ones putting in the lawsuit. The lawsuit, which was filed in July 2019, encompasses charges including breach of contract, unjust enrichment, negligent misrepresentation, and deceit or fraud. Bethesda's counsel, Margaret Esquinet, why do people have these weird names? Esquinet, denied the accusations. The lawsuit this is the important part here. The lawsuit could delay Microsoft's acquisition of Bethesda's parent company, ZeniMax, with Marchino telling GamesBeat, "What we're going to try and do is go in and ask a judge to stop the sale between Microsoft and Bethesda to preserve the assets. And it's known as a motion for preliminary injunction." So, I mean, they're not stopping it, but they want to pause it until they're able to go through the trial, basically. So they have time to actually get the lawsuit done that they've already filed, which isn't unheard of. I mean, during all the election stuff, like you heard, lawyers, I'm not going to mention names, but you heard lawyers talking about, like, pausing the voting and stuff. Like, it's pretty normal for court cases for, like, them to try and motion for, preliminary injunction, pause what's going on so we can have the trials and figure it all out. A trial could happen by 2022, GamesBeat said. So that means we'd be waiting until 2022 and maybe after, if this does happen. And damages could be as high as $1.1 billion, more if you include punitive damages. Simply put, Bethesda sold a season pass with the understanding that it was going to give the holders of the season pass any and all DLC content there was going to be created for the game Fallout 4 on a go-forward basis, Martineau said. They released a limited amount of DLC. Then they released a second wave of DLC, but decided to call it the Creation Club content and artificially removed it. Sorry, I read that wrong. And decided to call it Creation Club content and artificially removed it from the definition of DLC, meaning that they promised people at the onset, we will give you everything we made. And then they reneged on that promise. And they did so to their benefit or the detriment of the plaintiffs. So that's where they did something wrong. They lied. They took money from gamers and then they made more money. So on the moral grounds, I think he's right. It was definitely scummy. I don't think anybody really thought this was really happy with Creation Club. Even a lot of modders who were finally looking at, hey, we could finally get paid for our modding. Even a lot of them were like, this is pretty scummy. And I mean, they've got a point. And everything in Creation Club also isn't from third-party modders either. There's some stuff that's from internal Bethesda. And really everything is, reviewed by Bethesda before it goes up on the Creation Club. So Bethesda has a hand in all of it. Like, it's weird, because it is mods, right? It is mods, but they are official mods from Bethesda, like officially sanctioned mods, which you could start talking about semantics and be like, well, isn't that just DLC? Isn't that just that's what downloadable content is, right? It's official content from the creator of the game that they're giving you to download. So yeah, the biggest thing here though, the fact that they are asking right here, what we're going to try and do is go in and ask a judge to stop the sale between Microsoft and Bethesda to preserve the assets. And it's known as a motion for preliminary injunction. Okay, so they're going to ask to pause the merger into Microsoft with ZeniMax and all that, and Bethesda, and then a trial could happen by 2022. Now, just because a trial happens doesn't mean it's going to be over after that trial happens. So, if they're able, this is going to be the one thing you want to look for, is if they're able to get this injunction right here. If they're not able to get it, then just like I was talking about in my last video, we should be having a Microsoft and Bethesda like press conference or reveal or something with more information for the games, their plans for ZeniMax Studios and Bethesda and all that moving forward. But I mean, Microsoft might do it anyways because it'll still be like a sure thing. It's just they'll have to wait longer before they can see the returns for it. But it'll probably still happen, so they might just be like, screw it, we're going to go ahead and do it anyways. But there's a chance they could not, because they just want to be safer, safer than sorry. They don't want to be sorry, not safe. So yeah, a trial could happen by 2022, GamesBeat said, and damages could be as high as 1.1 billion, more if you include punitive damages. So this right here. So if the injunction does happen, we could really not if if you're on Xbox, you could not see any returns from the merger until after 2022. Could be before that. But if the preliminary injunction is not granted, then everything should proceed basically as we were expecting. Anyways, guys, let me know what you guys think. This is pretty crazy. Bethesda's not really strangers to this kind of stuff, unfortunately. They used to be one of the golden childs until just a couple years ago, really. They could do no wrong, and now they're in this kind of mess all the time. You got stuff like Fallout 76 going on. Man, I hope they get Star Citizen right, man. I really hope they do. But yeah, let me know what your guys' thoughts are. We can have a discussion in the comment section below. If you are liking my content, I would appreciate a subscribe. As always, guys, this has been Solid Shepard, and I should go.